Thank you. So, do we have any questions from the audience? No? Okay, so I am curious about something that you presented, and I wonder how you measure happiness.
Technically, I mean, sorry if it wasn't clear, we understand via webcams facial expression, so using computer vision and advanced AI, we just understand what a happy face is and record as happy based on your facial expressions.
But that does work from country to country the same way?
Well, happiness is the happiness in everywhere. So we do work mostly within the set of universal emotions. There are some more complex states that are culture specific as well. Okay. But happiness is pretty much the same everywhere, yes. Okay,
thank you. Okay, so I have a few questions here until the audience wakes up. One is very short, can viral be predicted?
I guess that question is for me, yeah. So actually, that's at least we work a lot in that at Realeyes. So a lot of clients come to us exactly with that question because it's been a very hit and miss Wild West to get social right. But there are some things which are clear. For example, content really matters within the context of virality. I mean, if you don't have a very strong content, there's just so much competition against you that you're not gonna stand out. So overall, we've done about a few thousand social video campaigns. We see very clear relationship that more you feel of any emotion, happiness, negative involved, the more people share, view, and tweet. But on a campaign level, you get to all the specificities of how you do the distribution around it. So there we're still working on the exact modules.
Any other comments?
So I think with viral, that actually connects and the tweets that you get back to some of the work that the hackathon teams were also challenged with in terms of how you look at trends and kind of things accelerating. And I think the scientific take for the most part is it is absolutely true that content matters in the sense that you know exactly what won't go viral. If there's no there, then it ain't going nowhere. I think on the other hand, the ability to make things viral or to predict them, I think from a purely kind of machine learning predictability standpoint, we are still struggling to find kind of clear evidence how to do that, and the ability to foresee that is limited. And I think we still have a lot of work to do understanding kind of the emotional drivers that could add some signal to the right now nearly impossible task.
Just adding a little bit of technical detail here is like the challenge that we see in the social space is that the data is just so noisy. I mean, the reason why we have such a successful project with Mars is that they've invested a lot in cleaning up the sort of performance data, but nobody's really done it in a social space to that level. So all these effects of did the celebrity tweet in it or what was the media budget behind that, nobody's done that level of data cleaning in social yet, as much as we've seen at least.
At least my experience in the US has been that there are publishers over there that they're experimenting and trying to predict what content works, but then it becomes a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy because you end up then backing up the content that is predicted that is going to work. So, and as a result, it ends up having the impact you expect it to have because you're backing up from a financial perspective. So it's still an interesting problem worth solving.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, another question that I have here is to differentiate between stimulating emotions and sales. So the question is, do they always correlate?
That's a question that we asked ourselves a lot within Mars, because if we basically would see, okay, whenever we drive happiness, this is a guarantee for sales, I think then we would all try to only do happy stories and not try generally emotional stories to tell a story in ad. So I would put that question actually back and say, well, generally there's no guarantee for nothing because still we are human beings, right? And between the moment that the consumer is exposed to an ad until the actual purchase moment, besides geo-marketing, but on the mass level, currently there are so many things that happen that I don't think that emotions in an ad necessarily can predict the end of the outcome of any sales study. That being said, what we definitely know is that emotions play a high role when it comes to any effectiveness of advertising. And I think there's a follow-up question in the audience.
Yeah, hi. Is it working? Hello? Yeah. My question is, do you have any feedback on branding campaigns versus direct response, and have you seen any differences in some of the tests that you've done when it comes specifically to creative?
We don't hear you well here up on the podium.
Okay, so what I was asking is, a lot of these were great branding campaigns. Did you have any feedback on different creative strategies, if it's a direct response campaign versus, or a performance campaign versus pure branding? Or are most of these tests just really on brand campaigns?
So are you asking about which advertisements did we provide to Realeyes?
Yeah, were they mostly just
No, there
brand?
were 149 ads really across all segments that we have and across 6 countries. They were very diverse, not only a particular brand. So the findings here from Realeyes, what we really tried to get into from a research purpose is to get a better understanding, and we were not focusing on one brand or one segment. No, it was a very wide and diverse field.
So if I can bridge this into what we saw, I mean, the model obviously had no sense of what the emotional state is, so this was purely predictive. But if you look at the results, yeah, it's the kind of active people who are happy about this notion of coming back better. There's some pride in that. And there are other people who get happy about deliciousness. So I think there's an emotional link here. And that was clearly a purely direct response result. So I think there is a strong connection there.
I mean, in our experience, it's definitely more on the brand side, because that's where the bigger problem is. I think there's a very good set of tools available to really optimize the last click and color of your banner and all of that. So that's why we focus on video, because if you look at it from the marketer's point of view, the bigger part of the budget is still upper funnel, because they know that overall the value is there. So we definitely think the sort of the emotional intelligence that we provide can first and foremost help in the branding space, just because the problem is bigger and the immediate impact.
From our perspective, I believe that since there is definitely a convergence of media and the importance of storytelling, it's important to be able to move those emotions across direct and across above-the-line advertising in order to be able to create a story that is consistent, like the example that we presented with News Corps. The entire story remained the same and the emotions remained the same, what we're trying to invoke across newspaper, direct mail, digital advertising, and TV. So I think the importance of storytelling requires that we stay consistent with the emotions across.
Okay, so we have no more time, so thank you very much to everybody, especially to our speakers.